Welcome in to game number 1 of the ace match between Team Composite and the Killer Pikachus. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner in the red color, playing for Team Composite. His team had a 3-0 lead. Can he bring back the set? It is Wisco. I'm not clicked into game. Wisco, yeah! And spawning across from him in the upper left-hand corner, the team captain for the Killer Pikachus. He's playing Terran. Can he complete the reverse sweep of Team Composite? It is TC.Wisco. Again, this is a best-of-3 ace match. This map is ESV Muspelheim. I have to admit, not one of my favorite maps, but kind of an interesting design nonetheless. Excuse me. And regardless, we'll get to see at least 2 games from these 2 Platinum Ace players. I know Wisco has been promoted to Diamond. I'm not sure if TC.Wisco has or not. I probably should know. Unfortunately, I don't. So we'll see what our 2 players have in store for us today. Wisco throws down his gateway and we'll go out scouting to see what his opponent's up to. It doesn't look like TC.Wisco's going to do anything out of the ordinary. Throwing down his barracks at the front. No gas as of yet. This would be kind of the standard time for gas if you were going to get it. But he's going to wall off, seeing that probe isn't there, and deny that scouting information, which is very important in this matchup. Because now when Wisco comes and pops up that wall, anything could be happening from a 1-1-1 to 7 racks Marine all-in to 1 racks gasless expand. It will tend to be 1 racks gasless expand, but of course you can't assume that as a Protoss player. Don't get into that mindset. But now, wall-in finished up. TC.Wisco trying to keep that probe out, and he does. Really nice catch on the depot here. Wisco still trying to get up in there, but not quite going to happen on that scout. TC.Wisco now headed across map. Wisco has taken 1 gas. He's going to take his second on 1 base. So it looks like we're going to have a 1 base oriented play from him. And I've played with Wisco quite a bit, so I know what this build is, but I don't want to give it away just yet for anyone who's watching at home. Wisco poking around. Will he place down a proxy building back here? This is a very nice spot, not one that's likely to be scouted. TC.Wisco going to get in and spots the double gas. He may assume kind of a blink observer all in, but double gas can mean just about anything from Protoss. He may even assume a Dark Templar rush. But there we go. We do have a proxy pylon from Wisco hidden carefully back behind these line of sight blockers. This looks kind of like wheat. It might not be, though. It might just be, I don't know, it's almost like seaweed. Are we actually underwater on this map? That would be an interesting question to ask. Wisco, though, does have his first Zealot, his first Stalker out as well. Cybernetics core happily churning away on that warp gate, and we do see the tech of choice is going to be a Stargate. So proxy Stargate over here just really narrows that distance that a Void Ray or Phoenix would have to travel to get up in there. Most likely Void Rays. We see TC.Wisco going to go for very, very standard 1 racks gasless fast expand into 3 racks. And this build entirely unscouted. We see the double gas has been scouted, but no sort of tech, no sort of add-ons. Wisco adding on 2 more gateways as well. So 3 gates and a Stargate can do so much damage against a Terran player, especially one that's not prepared for it. If we see TC.Wisco start to add on, or start to throw down the add-ons on the factory, that really spells his doom, as that just opens up timing galore for this Void Ray to do damage. We do see it is in fact a Void Ray. I'm omniscient. But right now, TC.Wisco going to stay with the Marine production for now. Second bunker coming up at the front, so he is very scared about an immortal bust, I would say, is kind of what he's predicting. Gateway now, or Warp Gate tech now finished up for Wisco, and we should see the turnover here, and there it begins. A lot of minerals banked up. The proxy pylon, the closest one's going to be over here from Wisco. One on the low ground. He can use the Void Ray to get vision of the high ground and warp in zealots or stalkers up into his opponent's main base. TheFreak adds on a tech lab. He's starting his stim pack, but that's not going to be nearly finished by the time this hits. Second Void Ray on the way from Wisco. Small force still here at the front to put on a little bit of pressure, I imagine. And now Wisco headed up into the main base of his opponent with this Void Ray, keeping it hidden for now. Does have vision of the high ground, and 3 stalkers very quietly warping into the back, still staying in the dark. Look, we can see the refinery, this black area in the back. In come the stalkers, and he'll start targeting down SCVs immediately. The Void Ray is doing quite a bit of damage as well, and now headed toward the front of the base. There's no sentry here to try and force field that off, and the Void Ray is coming back in. Now the main attack force from Wisco headed in the front. 2 stalkers, a sentry and a zealot. TheFreak able to hold off that initial attack force. 3 more zealots headed in, and now there's the force field on the ramp. Looks like the Marines will be able to kind of spill over here, but a couple of them getting targeted down. Now the zealots back into the main base. Void Ray's targeting down that refinery, just charging up. A couple of Marines back to defend. TheFreak trying to split his forces here against this threat, and it looks like he's going to clean up the one in the front, but the Void Ray is doing quite a bit of damage still in the back. He does need to get another warp in, does Wisco. The zealots killed so many workers in the main. 21 workers killed so far by Wisco. Only a handful of Marines remain, and another warp in of zealots comes in. 3 zealots versus 5 Marines. With the 2 Void Rays supporting, he does target down 1 Void Ray, but another one about ready to pop out for Wisco, and this is looking so good for the Protoss player. Another SCV going down, the main base being targeted down. That's actually not going to lift as the Void Rays charged up on it. 27 workers killed so far by Wisco. 40 supply to 28. Another warp in coming on with this extra Void Ray coming in, and TheFreak now making his last stand. 8 Marines coming in to try to defend against these zealots and against the Void Rays. And the multitasking from Wisco and the cleverness of the build, just overrunning his opponent. There's still 2 bunkers here, which are going to be very tough to break, especially with this amount of SCVs still alive. So Wisco going to pull back for now, target down a depot. TheFreak still alive, 25 supply to 37, but he's only mining on 1 base, and even not really then, because he's keeping these SCVs at the front to try and repair these bunkers. Now there's no production left after this barracks goes down, and that's the real trouble for TheFreak. He can only make SCVs right now. He's got 2,000 minerals, but no barracks. Now targeting down a couple more of these SCVs. I think he's finally realized that he doesn't have any barracks left except this floating one over here. And Wisco has scouted that out with the probe, making sure there's no bases around, and these depots will fall as well. And that'll supply cap TheFreak at 23 of 19 supply. These 2 bunkers, the last bastions of hope for the Terran player. And we see back in the main base of Wisco, still no expansion yet, but not too big of a problem. In come the Void Rays, there's 3 of them, trying to target down. There's not very many SCVs left to try and repair this. The bunker falls, and the Marines inside of it will be toast fairly soon. A lot more SCVs being pulled. Those will just be targeted down piecemeal. So many SCVs killed, 31 so far. Now the Void Rays nearly fully charged. They do take down the last of the Marines, and there's GG from TheFreak. And we'll go into game number 2. Wisco takes a 1-0 lead in the ace match for Team Composite and has a chance to close it out in game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2 of the ace match. Team Composite takes on the Killer Pikachus. Wow, I botched that pretty bad. Anyway, where?